Hello and welcome to my video on the Leica M8. Now if you're watching this, I realize that you've probably already seen every other M8 video on YouTube, but that's okay. Hopefully I'm able to offer a little additional insight. This is an original video, and what that means is that I'm not going to repeat anything you've heard in other Leica videos. I feel like that goes on quite a bit, and it kind of drives me nuts. So I'm not going to go into the, it makes you slow down and, Leicas connect you with the process. You've already heard all that, so I'm going to give you my own thoughts. So let's get into why I bought an M8. Why do I shoot Leica? I think if you're watching this video, you probably already get the appeal. You're either a current Leica shooter or you've tried them in the past. But I will just say that probably my favorite thing about them is that they don't have any features. I used to shoot Fuji cameras and I was kind of happy with them, except that I found that sometimes, they would just do weird things and I'd look down at the touchscreen and realize that I had changed a setting, like with my nose while taking a picture. And so I just find that even Fuji, for me personally, are just too complicated. They do too much stuff. They shoot video, and I just don't need any of that stuff. So Leica really works out great for me. They are pretty challenging in their own right because it's easy to jack up your exposure and to miss focus. That's kind of an inherent problem with manual cameras, but for some weird reason, I find it fun and it keeps me on my toes, and I have to concentrate a lot when I'm shooting, but that's kind of the way I like to do it. I think Leicas are just really beautiful cameras, and they're small. They don't draw a lot of attention. With that said, I don't subscribe to the whole, Leica cameras are going to make you this invisible, discreet ninja and nobody knows you're taking pictures. People do, but I just find that people don't care and they don't notice as much when they see you with a little camera, because it makes you kind of look more like a tourist and not like a pro, which is good because I'm not a pro. How does the Leica M8 compare to the Leica M10? Now you're probably thinking that I'm a psycho for owning an M8 and an M10, and I am. I have a problem, I don't know, but I can say that I do not find the cameras to be the same. And what really blows my mind is, this is just my opinion, but I find the Leica M8 image output to be just as impressive while only having half the resolution. And that's just crazy to me. I don't feel that the M8 is limiting at all at 10 megapixels. I love the colors way better every single time. And I actually like the chunky body on the M8. It's the tiniest bit taller and thicker than the M10 and the M11. And I actually didn't think I was gonna like that, but I like it better. It's pretty crazy. So if you're out there, I'm not saying that you should sell your M10 and to buy M8, but I actually find that I shoot the M8 more often. But I'm lucky enough to have both because I've done a lot of buying and selling over the years, and that's how I'm able to afford 4 Leicas. I actually have 4, and in the future I'll do a review of all 4 of my Leicas. But I would say that the M8 is nothing like current Leicas, and I'm happy with that, and they're also less expensive. So just wrapping up the video, I'm going to go through quickly the pros and cons in my experience. For the pros, as I mentioned, I think the color is perfect and basically unbeatable. I think it would take a lot of post savvy to get a CMOS camera to look like this one. The 10 megapixels is plenty. I've seen people print sort of large with this camera and it looks really good. It holds up. I think it's a really beautiful camera and it has a good place in my collection, being that my other Leicas are film, and then the M10, as I said, has CMOS sensor, and the photos don't look anything like this. In my experience, I've owned maybe 20-ish cameras in my life, and my favorite photos have always been cameras with CCD sensors. So I'm not really sure how to explain it, but they always come out the way I'm hoping they'd come out. And so I think that's what makes the camera worth it to me. For the cons, I wouldn't say that there's too many, but they are something to really consider. I definitely wouldn't tell you to go buy the camera, because for something that came out in 2006 and it's now 2023, I think I paid about $1,600 or $1,700 for my camera. It only had 5,000 shutter actuations, which is pretty good for how old it is. But I think there's a really good chance that there's no way anybody's going to have a working M8 past the 20s. So this camera could last till next year, or maybe 3 or 5 years. If I can get 5 years out of this camera, I'd be pretty happy. I'm really hoping, yeah, maybe 5 years. But another, downside is that I find the focusing to be slightly inferior to using an old M3 or, for example, the M10. Sometimes when I get to my minimum focusing distance, I find that I just have a little trouble trying to see any contrast in the patch. So it hasn't caused a serious problem, but sometimes I find that it just doesn't quite nail it like my M10 or my M2. I don't know why that is, but under normal circumstances, it works perfectly. So I'm pretty good with the camera. It's definitely going to stick around until it's dead. And thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions, you can write to me in the comments. Have a good day.